biggest game of conference championship weekend. The last time we ever see the Pac-12 championship, it's the biggest game we've ever seen. Number 5 Oregon Ducks taking on number 3 Washington Huskies. The winner of this game is in the playoffs. The loser is out. It's simple as that. Oregon lost to this team, what week was it? I think it was the second week of October 10-14. So Washington, up until that point, even through that game, looked like one of the, if not the best team overall as we play in this year. Ever since that game, though, I do believe Washington has kind of taken a couple steps down from the way they were playing. I mean, they had they beat Oregon 36-33, and then the very next week played Arizona State, only won by 8. They beat Stanford by 9 points. Played a really high-scoring game against USC, which, again, they're going to give up points to Southern Cal, but then they played a 7-point game against Utah, kind of just, kind of struggling through that. And then they had a really tough, really good win on the road at Oregon State in the rain. And then last week, I don't know what it is. Everybody was giving crap about Washington State. Like, this is a rivalry game, and Washington State was fighting for their postseason lives at 5-6. They needed a last-second field goal to win, but that was still, everybody says that was why was it close? They haven't been playing as well. They're 12-0. If you play the 41st strength of schedule, but you have the number 1 record strength, and you're 12-0, you've obviously accomplished something. You've obviously had to go through the gauntlet of playing really, really good teams. I mean, look at this. They have 3 wins over Tier 1 teams. They have a win over Oregon, obviously. They have a win over Utah, and they have a win on the road at Oregon State. 2 Tier 2 wins at Arizona and at Southern Cal. I mean, those 5 games right there, I don't know how anybody can come unscathed with that. And you'd be like, they haven't been playing well. It doesn't matter. If you beat those teams, if you win those games, it doesn't matter if you win by 25, you win by 5, or win by 1. You won. So the whole talk of, this, that's why I'm shocked the spread is 9.5 points. Again, I don't, spread is more of an indication of just how they think the flow will go. It doesn't necessarily mean the game will be close or a blowout or something like that. It's just, I'm just shocked that this many people are picking against Washington, basically leaving them for dead when this team has been through it all. So then we go to the other side of the Oregon Ducks, who many people feel, Bo Nix right now is the odds-on favorite to win the Heisman Trophy, and deservedly so. They've just been absolutely murdering everybody, this whole season. Besides that, obviously the loss to Washington, their closest game was the Southern Cal, and that was 9 points. I mean, destroyed. They put up 81 on Portland State. They beat on the road at Texas Tech. They had a pick 6, obviously, at the end there to win. I mean, they destroyed Colorado to shut their season down, basically, for the rest of the season. They beat Washington State by 2 scores. They beat Utah 35-6. Cal 63-19. Destroyed Arizona State, and then they beat last week the rival Oregon State 31-7 to make a move into this position with a chance to clinch the CFP berth no matter what happens. So, I mean, the offense is really good. Both top 10. Defense, Washington was really good on defense up until the last few weeks of the season. Oregon's defense has stayed strong in the top 10. I mean, the record strength, though, Washington's first. I mean, it's, again, I said it earlier, they've earned that number 1 record strength ranking. Oregon's not far behind at 9, with the 1 loss, so both have played, pretty mid strength of schedules, and that's why I think Oregon's put up a lot of gaudy numbers against really bad teams. I mean, you take away Washington and Utah. I mean, who's their best team to play was Oregon State. So, and they have 4 losses. Just go down some of these stats. Oregon is 49-6 as a favorite the last 5 years. Washington is 5-9 as an underdog. So this greatly favors Oregon, and that's the over/under. Oregon is 9.5 point favorite. Over/under 65.5. Obviously, all these stats go into consideration for Vegas. And ultimately, who do I think will win the final Pac-12 championship game? I think it's going to be Oregon, and I do believe Oregon will cover this spread. I said earlier, I don't know why it's this high, but the more I think about it, the more I look at the numbers, I just think they're playing better, and I think how much Washington should be given this much disrespect. I feel like Oregon still is going to win this game, and they're going to win it by a couple more than 1 score. And Oregon, I do believe if they win, they're almost a sure lock to be number 3. I don't think Florida State will move up even if they win. I think they'll be a lock. Plus, I think if Michigan beats Iowa, which is almost like a sure thing, it's going to be shocking to the college football world if Michigan loses that. If Oregon or Washington win, I think whoever wins this game will be locked in number 3. and will play Michigan in the Rose Bowl. Well, it's funny because both will be conference members next season, but the final version of the Rose Bowl, Big Ten versus Pac-12 iteration, and I think that's going to be Oregon. So, I don't know what else to say about that, guys. I think Oregon's going to win the Pac-12, and this will conclude, the best week of the season.